Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Tony Hampton, and if you're watching this, please send help. Apparently, I made the mistake of telling my trainer, Carly, that exercise is an important part of my NEST framework. But she heard, work him until he starts negotiating with the dumbbells. Now, before anyone worries, I survived. Barely. But while Carly was helping me become a slightly stronger version of myself, she asked me a really interesting question. She said, Tony, a lot of my clients are drinking calming beverages like Recess and Trip. As a doctor, what do you think? And honestly, I didn't answer immediately because whenever someone asks me about a product, I don't like giving opinions. I like following the evidence. So I went digging through the science. And today, I'm going to save you some time and maybe save you some money. These drinks are everywhere. The grocery store, the airport, the gym, even the gas station. They promise calm, focus, relaxation, better sleep, less stress. And honestly, I understand why they're becoming so popular. Life today feels like someone accidentally left the speed setting on maximum. Our schedules are packed. Our phones never stop buzzing. Our nervous systems rarely get a vacation. So when someone offers us calm in a convenient little can, it's tempting. But here's the question. Are you buying science or are you buying marketing? By the end of this video, I'm going to give you a simple framework that you can use to evaluate almost any calming beverage, or really almost any wellness product. I call it the CALM framework. The C stands for check the ingredients. Now here's something that may surprise you. When I looked at many of these beverages, I didn't see anything outrageous. In fact, many contain ingredients that researchers have actually studied. Things like L-theanine, ashwagandha, magnesium, lemon balm, chamomile. Those aren't random buzzwords. Several of them have evidence suggesting they may help some people manage stress or promote relaxation. Notice something important. I said the ingredients, not necessarily the drink. That's a huge distinction. Scientists often study purified ingredients, not sparkling beverages. So don't assume that because you've heard good things about an ingredient, every product containing that ingredient will produce the same results. Think about baking cookies. If a recipe calls for 1 cup of flour and I only add 1 teaspoon, I can still honestly say there's flour in my cookies. But should you expect those cookies to turn out the same? Probably not. And that's exactly why the next step in the CALM framework may be the most important one. The A stands for amount matters. This is where many consumers unintentionally get fooled. You read the label, you recognize an ingredient, you remember hearing a podcast or reading an article, and you think, great, this must work. Not so fast. One of the first questions I ask is, how much is actually in here? Because in nutrition, supplements, and medicine, dose matters. For example, many studies showing benefits from L-theanine often use around 200 milligrams. Ashwagandha studies frequently use standardized extracts in the range of roughly 250 to 600 milligrams. That doesn't automatically mean every person needs those amounts, but it does remind us that simply sprinkling an ingredient into a beverage isn't the same as using the amounts that researchers actually studied. In other words, presence doesn't automatically equal potency. This doesn't mean these beverages are bad. Far from it. Some companies are making thoughtful products. Others may rely more heavily on attractive packaging than meaningful formulation. Your job isn't to memorize every ingredient. Your job is to learn how to ask better questions. And once you start asking better questions, marketing becomes much less persuasive. Now let's move to the L. Look beneath the label. This may be the most important question in the entire video. Not what's in the can, but why am I reaching for the can? That's a completely different question. If you're looking for a relaxing evening ritual instead of a sugary soda, a calming beverage might fit nicely into your routine. If you're replacing 3 energy drinks a day, this could actually be a step in the right direction. But if you're hoping this little can will erase months of poor sleep, constant stress, too much caffeine, very little exercise, or a lifestyle that's running you into the ground, you're asking it to do a job it was never designed to do. This is where my NEST framework comes in. Nutrition, exercise, less stress and better sleep. Protecting your thoughts. Those are still the pillars of long-term health. A calming drink may support those habits, but it can't replace them. Think about it this way. Imagine your house has a smoke alarm going off. You could unplug the alarm. The noise stops, but the fire is still there. Sometimes stress is like that. Our goal shouldn't simply be to quiet the alarm. Our goal should be to figure out why it's ringing. Finally, the M. Make sure it's worth the money. Let's do a little math. Many calming beverages cost around $3 a can. That doesn't sound like much until you drink one every day. Now you're spending roughly $90 a month or over $1,000 a year. Now, for some people, that's worth it. You're paying for convenience, taste, portability, and maybe a healthy evening ritual. There's real value in that. But here's another question I ask. Could I get similar ingredients for less money? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes a quality magnesium supplement or L-theanine or another evidence-based ingredient may cost less over time. That doesn't automatically make the beverage a bad purchase. It simply helps you make an informed one. So, would I recommend calming beverages? For the right person, yes. Some are thoughtfully formulated. Some contain ingredients that have legitimate scientific interest. Some may help replace less healthy choices. But I wouldn't expect any beverage, no matter how beautifully packaged, to solve chronic stress by itself. Remember, tools are not the same as solutions. If someone came into my office and asked, Dr. Hampton, should I buy this? I'd probably answer with another question. Tell me about your sleep. Tell me about your stress. Tell me about your relationships. Tell me about exercise. Because the answer rarely starts with the can. So before you buy another calming drink, remember the CALM framework. C, check the ingredients. A, amount matters. L, look beneath the label. M, make sure it's worth the money. If you do that, you'll make smarter decisions. Not only about calming beverages, but about almost every wellness product you encounter. And that's exactly what I want for you. Not blind skepticism, not blind enthusiasm, just the ability to think critically and make informed decisions. Because protecting your health starts with protecting your thinking. And that's one more way to protect your nest. I'm Dr. Tony Hampton, and if you found this video helpful, share it with someone who's ever stood in the wellness aisle wondering, is this actually worth it? And if you've tried one of these calming beverages, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.